One of our 18 operas this season is Donizetti's Maria Stuarda, about two controversial women, Mary Queen of Scots and Queen Elizabeth I of England. I chose to revive Stuarda because I felt that Ashley Putnam was the ideal young woman to play it. At first, when I came into this, by the way, I was not going to interfere. I decided I didn't want to intimidate the other singers. And then, little by little, they began to come into this office and say, you know, I was sort of hoping that you would just talk to me a little bit about the role. And so now I interfere. I make a little set speech and say, we're going to talk for a couple of hours. I'll give it all to you. Discard what you don't want. Take what you think is useful. If it's a lot, terrific. If it's nothing, no hard feelings. I saw this performance of Cavalleria and Pagliacci, and I thought to myself, this is very well directed. I opened up the program, it was Fabrizio Milano. And I just felt that he was such a good character person that I invited him in to do Maria Stuarda. There should be a whole new, fresh approach for a whole new, fresh bunch of people. Marisa Galvani has sung the role of Elizabeth before with distinction, but young John Seabury sings Cecil, Elizabeth's chief advisor and Mary's chief enemy, for the first time. John's fun to watch because he literally has come up from 2- and 3-word parts, little by little. The first time I heard William Justice, I thought, what a handsome man. He's tall and very authoritative, and he'd make a marvelous Talbot in Maria Stuarda. It's such a hard role, and he does it so well. We don't have understudies at the New York City Opera. What we do is to cast more than one singer in each major role so that they can cover each other. A perfect example of this is the part of Leicester in Maria Stuarda. Barry Macaulay will sing on opening night, but Joseph Evans, who will sing it later in the season, is interchangeable with him during the rehearsal period. I discovered Barry during a student performance in San Francisco. As soon as I heard that incredibly beautiful tenor voice, I wanted to work with him. So when I became general director, I tracked him down and got him in here. Our mezzo, Jane Shawless, isn't here either because she's on stage singing. She's the epitome of our repertory singer in that she sings every 3 seconds. She's in virtually every opera that goes on here, in parts ranging from leading lady to singing from the pit. In Stuarda, she's Mary's companion, Anna. She can sing as often as 5 times a week. She's paid a weekly salary, and she's an extraordinary musician. The real well-developed character in this opera happens to be Elizabeth. He defines her just perfectly. You see the most powerful woman in the world. Now, her time, that's exactly what she was. Frightened to death of Mary, Queen of Scots, which makes you then ask the question, what is there about Mary that is so frightening to Elizabeth? And that's why it's hard to play that part. There's a process called marking, which singers use to conserve their voices. Some singers sing along normally until they come to a high part, and suddenly they'll drop their voices an octave lower. I used to sing softly instead. It seemed like a very natural transition to me. I took the job actually July 1979, and there's nothing left over from the previous season that isn't mine. Everything I wanted to sing, I just wish them half the fun I had.
I saw Beverly Sills do Maria Stuarda, and I was in college at the time, and I just was in heaven watching it and hearing it. And so to be entrusted with the same real treasure, really, is quite a special thing. So it's not a question of dwelling on the fact that I probably will be compared unfavorably to her. I think comparisons basically are odious, so that part of it I rebel against, but I wouldn't expect to be compared to her and be thought of as better in this role. I loved her in this role, and you know, if I went half that far, I'd be really happy.
The opera that you see tonight began 9 years ago and has had repetition I sang it 40 times. It was a production that was created for me. And now I've passed Mary's crown on to another young woman. And it's going to begin its run all over again. And yet it must never appear to the public to be something we've been doing for years and years. Each time has to be a fresh and emotionally draining experience. That's what the New York City Opera is all about.